You are now listening to the Young Black and Figuring It Out podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at YoungBlackFIO or on Facebook at Young Black and Figuring It Out. For all questions or inquiries, send your emails to ybfpodcast20@gmail.com. But if you really want to make a statement while showing your support, go to www.youngblackfio.com to purchase some merchandise. We truly appreciate your love and support. On behalf of the YBF team, thank you.
What's good, y'all? It's your boy Herb.
And it's your girl Mo.
And welcome to our
soon-to-be
world-renowned podcast, Young, Black, and Figuring It Out. What up, though?
What it do?
Whatever we tell it.
Too
I'm going to do the yerp next time.
Mm-hmm. Yerp.
Yeah, that's right.
That would have been my
Yerp.
yerp.
That would have been your...
Let's be real. Could you imagine me trying to really? And then
Try.
No, because this is like when you said you could howl. You could howl. You could do it. And
Oh, man.
I'm not true.
I'm like, why she out here sound like a dying coyote out here, B? Come on,
It
man.
was so bad. Like, you're not going to embarrass me like that again. I learned my lesson.
You funny.
Thank you.
What up, though, y'all? It's 3:33 on a beautiful Saturday in Vermont, and we are ready to make it happen.
You want to give the longitude and the latitude. What's going on?
So you remember them? Yo, longitude and latitude had me so confused. I'm like, when will I need to know these coordinates? I was so tight.
Well, depending on your job career choice.
No, that's true, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. They should do pathways, but not with the Department of Education being... Oh. Okay.
Take a second. Breathe.
Yo. The Donald.
Oh, yes. Is this part of what you figured out this week?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Lay it on us.
Yeah. I figured out that sometimes the time to strike is right away. Like, don't wait. You got to take action and make moves. And I think that's going to have to be a balance. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes it's like being like waiting and being reflect. I'm not lying still or standing still. I'm lying in wait. It's a line from Wait
Hamilton.
For It in Hamilton. So sometimes you got to do that. But oftentimes, though, windows is closing. So you got to have good discernment on when you want to go ahead and strike when the iron hot, when you need to put that iron up. You feel me?
Yeah.
And so that's a huge thing. It's like knowing when to do that and how to do that. So one of the things that hit me was this new president that's killing me right now, dismantling the Department of Education, also just interrupted the Public Service Loan Forgiveness, PSLF program, which if you worked in a public service, a not-for-profit public service, or like K-12 or something like that, for 10 years, you get your loans forgiven.
Right.
And they're trying to make sure, trying to make sure we get people in those fields.
Right. We did do an episode, was that last season?
Yeah, we talked about that.
So,
Yeah. Good memory.
Yeah.
Come on. And he just canceled that, which got me so tight. But it also made me realize, man, that's like some could have moved on, should have moved on. Now, I wouldn't have had 10 years because I ain't number 23. But it definitely, without a doubt, like got me so tight. The fact that I like other people gonna miss that.
Yeah.
You know. So I was like, yeah, if you there, well, I don't know. By the time you hear this, if you're reading this now, it's too late.
Why is he like this?
It might already be done.
Yeah.
But shoot your shot, gang.
Which is so disappointing. I was just telling somebody about it again recently because I've been such a like big proponent for it. Like it saved me. It saved my family.
Man.
And I was trying to tell everybody I could. I mean, I was telling my coworkers, we got them signed up. I'm here helping like I work for the people.
Yeah. And it's practical. I mean, let me get this out the way.
Yeah, because student loans are expensive.
Yeah.
And then they also got rid of the save thing
Yo,
right? So
the income-based repayments.
Yeah, so like when people were paying $0 a month and it was counting toward the PSLF because, you know, whatever the case may be, they have a lot of kids that are dependent upon them, whatever.
Yeah.
Now their price went skyrocketed.
Yeah, now it's back to you paying $1,000. It's gonna crush people. And so again, like the other people, and these again,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
We got to think smarter. And like this is a political conversation, but this is a conversation on practicality.
Mm-hmm.
There's 60 million people that voted for this person. The majority of these folks are middle class or socioeconomic wise less than middle class. And it's like this is going to be crushing those folks. People who can't get out, getting people in the cycle, impacting Medicaid. Like, what are we doing? Like, why? What the misinformation? What, because of like philosophical make believe things that we think he's gonna attack DE&I, and if you're gonna look at immigration, like, bro, that's not what's killing your pockets though. What's killing your pockets is stuff like this. And so I can't believe it.
I can. A patriarchal society voted with the patriarchy.
I can't believe it. Right. What the heck? And
like they dislike women so much that it didn't matter how much common sense
things, man,
or help might have been on that side. It's like, it's a woman. She's a woman of color.
What the hell are we doing? And then on top of that, I'm just gonna put this out there. This Joe Biden fault. If you would have got out of that race early, if you would have got up out of there, okay, I'm gonna tell you right now.
Okay.
If bro would have got out of there 8 months before, and we could have had a real time to campaign. First of all, it might not even have been Kamala. I think she's amazing, but it might not have been her. We had an actual time. The fact that Brody decided to wait to the last 100 days. Like that, you did this, bro. You gonna go down in history as the most arrogant, self-centered president. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Who?
Joe Biden. Yes, I don't care. We know we getting into it, bro.
The most?
We know we's getting into it, bro. I'm gonna tell you right now. We know we's getting into it, Brody. We know it's coming. The fact that gang said, I'm going to be so arrogant and prideful that I'm going to risk the threat of the entire democracy.
The most.
That I can't believe.
I can see him going down in history as one of the most forgotten, but I cannot see him going down as the most arrogant when we got the orange leading.
I can't. I'm gonna tell you why.
Like, look, you were right that he should have stepped away. That there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I will say, for all the things he was doing that no one even see or saw, we were in a better position when he was there than we are now. But continue.
We would not have been here. I'm just gonna say that straight out.
If he had left sooner,
we would not have been in this place.
I mean, yes, because you're thinking that there would have been a different candidate. You're not saying that it would have been.
So to would have been a different candidate, or even if it's the same candidate, people don't understand like what it takes, the hundreds of millions of dollars in months it takes to actually get a campaign going, to convince people and to run on policy. That is a year-plus process.
Yeah.
The fact that she even got close in 100 days is phenomenal. Like, why bro said he was running to be a one-term president in the first place? Why would he do that? So I don't blame. So we know we was getting with the orange man.
Yeah.
Like 100%. We know we was getting. Like, yo, bro came back with the same agenda he had the first time, now with just more power. Bro knew that.
I think that's probably why he thought he was safe to run again. He's like, y'all already knew how terrible he was. Why would you vote for that again? I don't think any part of him, until it got too late, realized, oh, the American people are tired of me.
And here's the problem. He said that. I'm a one-term. He said it. This is your plan. Wow. And that's why. So yes, we know we got, to be honest, we know we got somebody who is bigot, racist, arrogant, all those good things. Yes, that's 100% fact. And like, we know that. But the fact that expectations, you knew better and didn't, like, come on.
And didn't do better.
Wow.
If that's not a life lesson.
Wow. Is this the episode for today? But go ahead.
At this point.
Yeah, we here now. But no, okay. That's what I figured out. I figured out that I am more and more upset with Joe Biden every day.
I need you to leave him alone right now, because we are losing focus if we focus on him. He's out of there. He ain't know what he doing.
I can
sitting, rocking, chilling.
I can do two things at once. Hey, I'll keep it in a buck.
I just don't want your attention diverted is all.
No, I'm like, hey, I know the facts.
Now, I know he's arguing me up and down. Multitasking is not a thing, but if you say so, I support you.
I can do two things at once. Gang was terrible for that decision, and gang is terrible who's in there now.
Mm-hmm.
I know why we got there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know what's up.
I mean, I've been listening to a lot of interviews, and I heard people say, yeah, I mean, I only voted for the orange because I just didn't want to rock with the Biden and Harris administration. I was mad at them. And the person's like, okay, what was the reason? Like, what were they doing? It's like, I just feel like they were weak. It's like, okay, what made them so weak? Tell me. They were trying to help people. That was their reason. And I'm like, that tends to be the why. You know, people view them and see them as that. So it's like, why not go with the orange, even though we know the orange is the worst in the world? I'm like, I feel like we're just losing focus on focusing on the wrong thing. But I respect your view to do two things at once.
Yeah, it's like I can know the facts.
You know?
I ain't gotta forget about what happened to think about what's happening now. Like, nah, bro, what's going on? Listen, this is what bro did. Yeah, this is my stance on this. People know I'm gonna say the fact. I am a moderate. I'm a Democrat leaning moderate. But here's the facts of the matter: that this black woman who had a long shot in this country had 100 days to pull off the impossible and didn't, and now the entire Democratic Party is in disarray. And bro knew this though. Like, he knew what was happening. And I don't care about what. Yes. He had every single president after 4 years. We know your approval rating is going to take a dip. That happened every time. Like, that's historical context. We know that. And bro, if that was the case, and that's the reason why people set up folks to come in with campaign time, 2+ years. Wow. Why would he wait and say, I'm about to run all the way up to 100 days to set her up to lose? Now, they set up black folks like that all the time. This is a repeat, a rerun. No. Yes, thank you for all the great and amazing things you did for 3 years, and it set us up to be in a worse place, to be in a dictatorship now. No. What? I can't, bro. I can't do it. I'm tight. Now, yes, we need to march and band together and boycott, but we wouldn't have had to do that. But okay, it's all right. Yeah, I'm happy. Thank you for your service. Great job. Thank you. It's okay. Setting up our girl like that. Okay. All right, I'm back. Mm-hmm. I got it on my chest.
No, it's okay.
I got it all.
Feel your feelings. Let it.
Hey, what we say? They valid.
They are.
Your
though.
feelings valid. Even if I ain't rocking with the logic, your feelings is valid.
You know, because sometimes feelings outweigh logic, and that is okay.
But when you got both, though,
you gotta just give space.
Yeah, I got you. Bro's feelings outweigh his logic.
Seems to be a trend with men.
We talked about that today, actually, so I'm glad you brought that up. All right, go ahead. What'd you figure out?
It's funny. It was a line until we got here. But back when we were talking about what did you figure out, I was thinking
10 minutes ago. The episode almost over now. It's a wrap, y'all. It's done. Thank you. The episode is about buying the hair. Right.
I was thinking that, that phrase, great work, you're rewarded with more work, right?
The one that I thought of. The phrase that I created, by the way.
So I was just thinking about that and how oftentimes I feel like I work and I do my job and I do the best I can. And I think that whole we have to do 10 times more. We have to be 10 times better. Rings in my subconscious because it's not even in my forefront a lot of times. And I am always operating past my level of comfort, past like all kinds of pain, just like burnout, whatever. You still try your best to show up, right? And then that concept of sometimes you got to ask for more. You got to ask for what you want because the expectation is you're fine. You'll just keep doing it. I can just give you more things to do. But if you don't state, I'm not fine. I need breaks. I need more money. I need this. Then, and like that opportunity could close or leave or disappear. And all you doing is suffering. Don't keep your mouth shut. Speak, share,
Yeah, why do you think people don't speak in those times?
Fear, retaliation, coming off and being almost like, what's that word? Like your reputation gets tarnished in a way. So people were like, you know, they never say that men are bossy. They'd be like, women are bossy. So like now you're also this or you're also that. And then I'm a black woman, and I'm a black woman not working in a black space. Like it's, I'm not about to just be out here saying or doing anything. So I think I am just naturally more mindful of how I bring things up. I also find that my personality gets in the way. So if I bring up like, I am struggling, help me, it will come off like a joke.
Yeah, you're all right.
You know, it's like, no, we feel pain. Okay. Anyway.
No, that makes sense. And sometimes too, I think people feel like you said, they don't want to come off greedy or asking too much or you know things. I've definitely seen that. Like, well, if I ask for this, they're gonna think I'm like I'm stepping outside of what I should be asking for. You know, yeah, I definitely feel that. And by the way, I just noticed that hoodie.
My sweatshirt.
That's dope.
Yeah, because where's she from?
She said she's from Brooklyn. To Vermont though.
But that's where I'm from.
That's what's up. I'm saying from Brooklyn.
You
to
gotta know
Vermont.
your roots. You feel
You
me?
gotta know your roots. You can't get the fruit. I love that line. That was so dope.
Where's that from?
Somebody said that like, yo, you don't pay attention to the roots, you can't bear the fruit. I'm like, ooh.
Thought it was a line you created. You know,
Nah.
because you be doing that.
Yeah. No. This one was for sure. This is somebody else. The one about hard work, that's me.
Yeah. How you feeling?
What you mean?
I feel like you're still there. Over there fighting the Biden administration.
No. I said that to say. We got it out, y'all.
Just making sure, just checking in.
Yeah, no. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little more awake, you know.
Like you still over in Brooklyn.
That's where my heart always is.
But home is. But yeah, so going back to what we said in the very beginning, this actually talks about this a little bit. Masculinity.
Yeah.
So there's actually an amazing. So the podcast itself was dope, and it focused on one of our guys, Anthony Mackie, and a lot of things came from that. Not least of which his role as Captain America, which there's so many complexities as a black man playing Captain America that could be an entire podcast episode itself. And think about what does that mean and what is he grappling with and all those good things. But in this, I think two things came out. One of them that was the most important was his comments, or I'm sorry, people elevated as most important, was his comments about masculinity. And essentially he said that masculinity has been under attack, I think he said, in the household for 20 years. And then he went on to say, like, the way that he's kind of bringing up his boys and his oldest specifically to be like the man of the house. And when he leaves, he's like, now you're the man, now you got to do this. And you got to, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and whatnot. And people really like, funny enough, a lot of folks attacked him for that comment.
Yeah.
You know? And brought up all type of stuff like from his past, and he like in one movie he like I think he like shared a kiss with a man as an actor, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, that sparked the conversation for us to have about masculinity in this age, and especially around like some of the things he brought up, you know? And so like, yeah, let's start there. So did you have a reaction to his comments about that?
Honestly, when I saw him speaking, because I only saw the clip,
Yeah.
I was surprised he was so honest. Because I'm like, because of the climate we're in, people love to take a nugget of what you said, missing the context, and make it into something else, right?
And that's what they did.
I didn't think he meant anything negative or problematic behind it. I think he's coming from an old school mentality also, which makes sense to me because I think I was raised in an old school mentality, like with that kind of traditional understanding. And so, I mean, I don't know. I think I admitted this on the podcast before. I used to be a big thing on like, you know, men always open the door. And there were times when I opened the door for a guy and I would judge him if he walked through. It's like, you're supposed to say, no, ma'am. Go ahead and hold it for me. And that was from like young. So I knew that was just something already ingrained in some form of understanding that I had. But what he said just made sense to me on like the expectations you would have growing up or you would see, like I would see with my cousins or whatever the case may be.
Yeah. And just going off of that, do you feel like, so is masculinity in itself a negative thing? And if not, do you think it's starting to be looked at or viewed as a negative thing? Because that was kind of like, people could derive that from his comment.
Mm-hmm. I don't think it's a negative thing. I think people have made it rigid. And so when you can't see masculinity in any other form than the way you view it, then it can become negative. You know, you hold people to a standard that's not always realistic. If we're from different areas or different parts of the world, expectations are always going to be different. Yeah. So
yeah, he mentioned that in the podcast too about like different cultures in different places. He saw the difference in masculinity in general. Yeah.
But yeah, is that a negative thing for you? What would you say?
Like, do I view masculinity as negative?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I feel like for me, especially being like a very masculine man, and I think even with attempts to like start to shed some of the toxic things that can come with like hyper masculinity, I know masculinity is not negative. I think it's like so complex.
Yeah.
So when you think of masculinity, I think in many people's mind, without even knowing it, black men have been like, they think they're hyper masculine. Like that's like the pinnacle of being hyper masculine, right? And some of that exists within the culture. Like that is true. Like the way I was raised, it was like militant.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think some things from that, like not being connected to your emotions except for like anger, and anger being rewarded, and not being able to express those things because of that, pure dominance, which is something like me and my therapist are working through. Some of those things can lead to negative traits, like 'cause that can lead to, there's a lot of spinoffs that are negative from that. Now, the positive side of that though is being like protective and direct and stepping into fear when it ain't there, and like all these beautiful things that come with that.
Yeah.
So I think like anything, when it gets into a space where it's like too much or hyper, whatever it is, that can for sure be negative, you know? And I think the expectation of black men to be a certain way, even within our own cultures, that can lead to some negativity, right? Because then that leads to like, people see black men as like, I mean, honestly, that is like romanticized and fantasized and fetishized in a way. It's also like, see folks as like predatory, right? Like, oh man, I ain't gonna leave my kids around because we're like crossing the street and all that. Like that's what comes from that.
Yeah.
So it's like somewhat negative to the person being impacted, but also what happens in society because of how they view that.
Yeah, which is so annoying that it got to that point. And I don't know if it happened. I don't know when it happened because, you know, I was only born but so long ago. But I feel like in, I don't know, maybe the 50s or so, the 60s, there was this like gentlemanly energy that was expressed as masculinity. And at some point, the toxicity got in where, we don't do all that. We're not really mannerly or carrying ourselves in that way as much as like we got to come off like we're angry. And I think that's what people are thinking about a lot of times and have attributed as that fetish fantasy that you're talking about.
Yeah, I think like they romanticize street culture a lot. And that's been associated with blackness as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I for sure see that. And I think the other part too is masculinity is a protective mechanism.
Right.
So like when it feels like the entire world is out to get you, it's like that is protection. It's this armor, you know, that's been like pushed into that.
Right.
Like, and I go out and I'm like, dang, why am I so like, I'm just like frowned up. You know what I'm saying? Like I worked through that to be way better, but you seen it.
Yeah. Once I just learned, you gotta learn your role. I'm here to sit and just observe.
That's funny. I think that. And so I think what Anthony Maggie's saying is like that has been reduced. I don't think all that's bad. I think allowing folks to be able to like, I forget my man's name, Jalen Williams, Cry Like a Man. This book, he talk about some of these things.
Yeah.
So we gotta let some of that go because that was leading to a lot of like self-destruction.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you probably see that in your line of work. Like,
it's rough sometimes.
What do you see in your line of work with that?
Oh, there's a mix. So I've seen like parents be very strict on the type of toys their boys play with. So like you can't have, Barbies, which I'm like, okay, they don't have to have Barbies, but baby dolls, especially ones that aren't like, it's not cutesy, it's not girly per se, but like, no, you can't. And I think it leads to a mindset of men thinking they don't need to do anything for their children if they have a newborn. It's like, you need to lift them, change them, feed them, bathe them, do all that. But you're almost taught like that's a woman's work energy, I see that. I've seen, like statements being made, the thought of maybe putting them into an all boys school or certain things. Like, I don't want them turning out like that. I was like what? Like that. And I was like, I don't think that's how that works. So, but these are the things that we are teaching our kids, which can limit how they express. And a lot of times they're holding that anger because I can't really be myself. Because if I do too much of this, or if I'm interested in that, it's a problem. Like so many young men, like they wouldn't let me dance. Why not? They said that's not manly. I gotta play sports. And it's funny. Like, come on.
That's legit though.
Hence. So like a lot of it is just being taught repeatedly over and over. And I find that I don't see anyone teaching anyone to be a gentleman anymore. That's out the window. You don't look people in the eye, like confidently shaking hands, speaking, holding the door, just like being well-mannered isn't a thing. And I was like, when did that disappear? Can we bring that back? I feel like that will just save a lot of issues.
That is, what's interesting, what got me looking up right now is going back to what is the definition of masculinity?
Because it's definitely changed over time.
And that's funny.
What?
Yeah, so let's look at that.
Okay.
So
there's multiple definitions?
Yeah. So there are different ways to think about masculinity. First one, it says traditional masculinity often emphasizes dominance, independence, and stoicism.
Oh, okay.
Which is funny because I think about, like, again, the things I work through my therapist is like, where she uses like, a lot of things we do go back to like dominion, like pure dominance. I'm like, damn, you're right. It's like, that's like conquering my life. Like, and in some ways, people, like, you know what I'm saying? I gotta work through that. Hyper independence, that. Yeah. And then like stoicism, I just got to the point where I'm like, oh, I can be expressive in a different, well, I didn't just get there, but it took me a while to get there for me to be able to be expressive.
Yeah, outside of like indoors at least.
Yeah, but I mean, I think outside of sports, like where I'm like, extremely like, yo, let me show up differently. You know what I me? So that's huge. How does that resonate? Have you seen those things be associated with masculinity? Tell me how.
I feel like I've seen people get more critical of young men. Right? Like, so that stoicism needs to be there. They need to just like sit there, like they're tough and don't act like they're hurt. Even if you just said something that hurts them, even if they just got hurt, it's just a suck it up type of energy. I see that a lot and I hate it because I'm so expressive. I think it is hard for me as a human. It's like, how am I supposed to connect with you? And I always feel like we need more men to connect with young men and let them know it's okay. It is all right to feel your feelings.
Yeah.
But they don't have those examples as often, unfortunately.
Nah, that's why. Are you familiar with Jalen Brown? I think I'm saying his name right. The
quarterback?
No. Jalen Williams, my bad. The dude that was that had Cry Like a Man. He does like mixed martial arts, teach like karate with them.
That's his
like,
name?
Yeah, I think his name, yeah.
Oh, I love every video.
Yeah.
Every time I see him because it's the patience. His voice is so soothing in that way. And I'm like, if I could always like send me his name because I want to show some family sometimes. Like, yeah, sometimes the way we speak to them, especially in the morning when they're waking up, these are the type of like ways we want to talk because it lets them know it's okay. Yeah. Take your time.
And then you got his name?
Yeah, his name is Jason Williams.
Jason, thank you.
Okay.
Better be sending people on a wild goose chase.
Jalen, we went from Jalen
Williams.
Brown.
She like the quarterback. I'm like, nah, the rapper.
Is there a
Nah.
quarterback named Jalen Brown?
Brown?
Yeah.
Oh,
Was it
Jalen. I don't think
just
he's a
won the Super
quarterback.
Bowl? Wait, no.
that one for the Eagles? Is that him? I don't know.
It was in there. Don't worry about it.
Y'all,
Nah,
I clearly don't
not-
watch football.
Yeah, Jalen Brown is an American
He
basketball
don't know.
shooting
He
guard.
was on the Celtics. I'm tripping. I'm talking about he
Yeah.
won the Super Bowl. Yes, he was close.
That's an
What's
athlete.
my man? Why am I bringing on his name? My man just won the Super Bowl. I know game.
Jalen's hurt.
Yes, thank you.
That
No.
So I don't know names.
Come on, bro. Why am I? Come on.
I'm not helping.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts. Thank you.
Oh, I was in
You was
that.
right. You was right. Thank you. Appreciate you.
Holla for a dollar.
You know football. Shout out to the Lions, though. We about to come back and win next year. But okay, don't worry about it. We was close. I know. Don't nobody hate on us like that. It's okay. You don't even watch football. You don't even know.
That's why I don't say anything.
Okay.
I thought I was being supportive.
But nah, his videos are dope, though.
Yeah.
And I've seen where he like had people like tense and tight and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And then he's like, what you feeling right now? What's going
Mm-hmm.
on? He lets them let it out. That's healthy. And speaking of that, that's what they have here described as healthy masculinity.
Ooh.
Encourages emotional intelligence, strength and vulnerability, and positive relationships.
We need more of that.
Yeah, emotional intelligence with masculinity, I think that is important because I've associated like being a man. It's like, nah, you don't show emotions. Like you too emotional. You act like a woman, bro. Like that's how people that's how people talk, you know. And you kind of get wrapped into it. I'm still unpacking that now.
Yeah.
Like
I think that's more not global, but that's definitely more common than not. So
yeah, yeah. Nah, that's
no, that's hard. I mean, everything almost dictates toward that. So
Yeah.
it's hard to try to unpack it while everything around you is still very much in it.
yeah. And I want to say something. So this gonna push the boundary. This is kind of what Anthony Mackie was getting at a little bit about his man being like his son being strong, and so while not showing any emotions and stuff, one thing that the benefit that came from that is I am very calm during chaos,
That is true.
and I'm like when stuff hitting the fan, and I know I'm not emotional, but I'm like I'm calm and I can think through it, and it's like stuff crashing down, and yeah, like I can say that's a benefit. So while I know it's like some people see some negativity with that, I actually feel like nah, that's been beneficial in major ways, multiple times. But I see you got thinking face. What's happening?
I was just thinking, it's like, how many people got you as their emergency contact? Because that is very true. He's, that is the person to call when there's an emergency.
B.
Yeah.
Yeah, legit.
Yeah, that is a benefit. I'll give you that.
And I know you probably would say that that's not a replacement though for having healthy emotions.
I would not say that. Yeah.
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 Okay,
Did
I
I
was
say it
like, wait.
backwards?
I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, no. But I feel like, if we're going to use you as an example, since you put yourself out there, I feel like we've worked.
Wait a minute.
Over the years, we've definitely worked through, like, expressing feelings,
Oh, for sure.
because, it wasn't, things weren't clicking. I was like, sir, what is going on? And you're like, I don't have feelings. I was like, what? He tried to convince me years ago. This is years now, y'all. Years ago. He ain't got no feelings. I was like, make that make sense.
Nah, that's legit though.
You're like, I just never feel them.
I'm gonna keep it a bug with you. That's a fact. That was a fact. That I legit was not in touch with my feelings. Like it was no. So the actual statement with that is, I don't feel my feelings. I don't. It's like now they might come out later and crash out. That's the problem. And I think many men would say, especially black men, black men from an urban culture, like nah, like
The blow up comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And it'd be over something that you would deem as small, and to them it's just the thing. I'm like,
yeah, no facts. Yeah. So I don't think that was incorrect. I think that was like, bro, the language is wrong, but it's like, no, I don't feel them.
Mm-hmm. Yes, the way you explained it didn't make sense for me, but I also do that logically that couldn't be true. It's like there's no way you don't have feelings.
Yeah.
It's impossible. But yeah, no, that was a good time back then.
Yeah, and I think that's an important point to land on though, because that's like, I think that leads to a lot of like the crashing out we see because people aren't having like empathy,
right,
and sadness, and or can't connect to, oh bro, I'm sad, so I'm doing this. I'm jealous, so I'm doing this.
Yes.
I'm whatever, so I'm doing this.
Can't explain it.
Nah, and it's like, and you don't actually feel it. I was not being funny. Like,
Yeah.
stuff would happen, it would be a blank. So,
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Honestly, as a therapist, the hardest thing I'm doing is trying to work with young, like, teenage boys because
Black boys specifically.
Black boys specific. But honestly, I've had some white boys same.
Mm.
They might express it differently, but the concern is the same, where they don't know what they're feeling and they're just doing things, and trying to even get them to like talk about, well, why do you think that is? Where's that stemming from? Or what kind of feeling is coming out when that happens?
Yeah.
Just it's denial. I had one recently. He's like 14. He had a hoodie on his head, but like he was not wearing the hoodie. He just draped the whole thing on his head. Refused to look at me. Refused to speak. Me just checking in, like, how you doing today? Great. Life is beautiful. Could not get to the point where he could say anything. Doesn't want the help. Angry, possibly grieving, possibly depressed. Who knows? But because he doesn't believe it's true, I don't even need you trying to help me on it. And I'm like, how can I help? You know what I mean? Like, that breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I'm like, who? So I'm thinking in my mind, we need more men who talk like, was it Jason
Williams?
Talking to men about their feelings. Because like that's the voice I think they'll hear.
That's what's up. He's from Detroit too. But yes,
shout out to Detroit.
Hey, you feel
and
me?
the Lions.
Yeah, thank you, yo. Nah, I feel that, and I feel like that's the positive part about masculinity. Once we get through some of those negatives, like the things that are good are like strength and leadership, for sure. Like that came a lot of like what I was saying, like strength and being like, out and to lead and being willing to do that, and then like protection.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of the things. If I had to say like, people say they value in me is that like, oh bro, protective. Like it ain't gonna be, if I'm defending you, it's like, all right, I'm gonna, like we either you gonna be straight or we gonna die here. A or B, like period. You know what I'm saying? And that's like that's a part of masculinity. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that's valuable. Like that's important to me. Like if I had somebody with I know you talked about his son. Like if my son, I'm leaving and he 17, 18, it's like that's the mindset. Like because I'm holding you down in that way. You holding his family down in that way. Yeah, I think that's dope. Right. Discipline and work ethic. Like those things are so positive. And a great part of being masculine, and things that I did learn that when I can started to weed out those other things, like when that can be left over, I feel like that's dope. And I think that's what Anthony Mackie was really saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Which I don't think everyone has that language anymore, because I'm like, a lot of that is character development, and we don't think about building young people's character anymore as much, right? So it's like, if you said it, you have to uphold to that. If I'm telling you to do this and do it to the best of your ability, it's because anything you start, you finish well. That's just how I need you to go toward things in life. You know what I mean? But no one's thinking about it in that way. And I'm like, it's so important, because a lot of people are just so lost now. Yeah. Like a lot of these young kids just, I'm angry, I can't tell you why, and I ain't got nothing else going on.
Yeah, I think just to get the yes, and I think specifically for me, and I'm going to go into this too, because I'm somebody who feels like the attack of, because some people do, of masculinity is definitely like, that's not positive. The attack should be when we try to make this, to your point, off air, that this should be the only way it can be.
Yeah.
But it's multiple ways.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, the opposite of like being like firm and strength and being like water and nurturing, like those two different things. And it's okay to be either or, but like this other one, firm and strength is like dope.
Right.
Right. And like leading in a certain way and being like a dope follower. You got to be both. But like this one's typically associated with masculinity, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Protection. You know what I mean? Like that. All of those, I don't think those are negative.
No.
But I think they get
skewed.
Or being taken to like, again, the hyper masculine when it becomes like protection become kind of like control and dictate. That's too much. You know
or like, because you can't express feelings. I'm embarrassed now, and my only logical recourse is to hurt you. Yeah. And that might be more violent than not. Right. Which is like, if we could express how we feel, or at least recognize it, maybe we won't need to blow the top off and lose it all together. You know what I'm saying?
Crash out.
Yeah, because it's not worth that. But a lot of that is like, I got to hold to my pride, like we were saying earlier. Pride keeps us in places that we probably shouldn't be.
Pride is the devil. It's funny that came back.
Yeah. It was all intertwined.
Looped. On accident.
Or by design.
We knew we was doing that. We be playing with us. We be out here planning these episodes. You'll see what's on this laptop right here. Touchscreen. Mac. But yeah. But yes, yeah. So question.
Can't take him nowhere.
Hey, as we kind of wrap up, like, question for you. What do you what would you say? So as we go forward, though, because Anthony Mackie, for all the hate he getting, sparked a dope conversation we having. What's a way, not the way, but a way people can work to like navigate these things and have them coexist? Because I think that's kind of a premise of what you're saying. It's like two things can exist at the same time, and there's not one rigid way. How can folks start to navigate that?
That's a good question. I think, tapping into understand, like, even if you are struggling to feel your own feelings or like, allow your children to understand what they might be thinking or feeling in that moment. You may, because everything I think is going to be a slow kind of progress toward anything. I think doing that can allow you to understand them better. It's like, oh, maybe they're acting out because they feel this way. Maybe this is something I could work on, and like taking accountability for some of that stuff. And then providing them responsibility. I think that is such, like, Anthony Mackie's on the right route in that way, like giving them things that they need to be responsible for, and it's not because you want to put a burden on your children or make them feel like they're doing your work, but you will not be around forever and they need to grow up. They are going to grow, and like, who are they going to become, So I think a mix of that could be helpful, at least in the starting round.
Love it. Amen.
What's your advice as a young man who has lived this way? I said young too.
Right. I caught it. I appreciate it too. Damn right. Youthful. Spring chicken. Let me get the seat up to my knees.
What a contradiction.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm down low out here. I think my advice would be is at the end of the day, and I think I'm probably gonna speak to people who are in similar positions like me. Something that we got to do is allow ourselves to like redefine masculinity and what we value around that, and being okay with some of those things. Like, and when I said I didn't have feelings, I wasn't saying that to you. It's like, man, I ain't got feelings. That was like a badge of honor. Like, yeah, I don't feel nothing. Like, 'cause that was the reward. And we don't do anything in life without assigning some value to it. So to me, that was valuable for some reason. And I think we got to assess that, like, why do we value it that way, right? Like, what was it protecting us from at the time? Hurt, trauma, things that happen. But, like, that is not all of life. That's not all encompassing.
Right.
So we got to reevaluate and keep the things that are, like, valuable. Because some of the things I mentioned, like, those things good. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we got to start to, like, deconstruct and unlearn the things that aren't serving us well anymore. I think as a community, and the system wanted it to be this way, so it ain't just because we ain't just wake up and get like this. Like, the system kind of structured that way. But we have to like do our own work to kind of deconstruct those narratives so we can like be in a healthy community and not like see somebody who look like us and like, all right, it's a threat now.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be huge. Just like redefining and re-looking at what the value is around that. But not saying that means we need to lose the core tenets of like what makes us who value masculinity value that. You got to think. What you thinking?
No, I hear you. I think that makes sense.
You had a deep thought face. I'm like, oh, I see it.
I did not. Not in a way that was helpful anyway.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So listen, people listening right now, and they probably thinking, what in the world are they talking about? Listen, we might be right.
We might be wrong.
But at the end of the day,
We're just young, black, and figuring it out.